Hello, I wanted to talk to you today about a popular term that I hear, or it's in the media a lot, and it's something that a lot of women who I work with struggle with, and that term is mummy guilt. Now, I don't like this term at all. I have a bit of an issue with it because it implies that if you're a mum, there's a whole range of things that you potentially feel guilty about, but it implies that this is a normal part of motherhood. And if you don't have mummy guilt, there could be something wrong with you. What are you missing? Maybe you're a bad mum. And mummy guilt is something that has been popularized, and it's something that a lot of women experience whenever they take time out for themselves or whenever they try to do something for themselves or they put themselves before their children or other members of their family. And this has got to stop because you are just important as everyone else in the family, and you can't be at your best and be looking out for everyone else, nurturing everyone else, if you're not looking after yourself. There's absolutely no reason to feel guilty for taking time out and doing things that nourish you. We all need that. It's also important role modeling for your children too, to see that you look after yourself and that you do set some boundaries and you do value your own needs as well as everyone else's. And I think that although it's sort of a term that's popularized in a lot of mummy blogs and social media and popular magazines and certain social commentators, it's also goes back to the martyr archetype. So the archetypes are patterns of behavior that are common to all of us, regardless of time or place. And the martyr archetype is very strong in our culture. And a lot of this has come from observation through previous generations, where it was considered virtuous to sacrifice yourself for the sake of your children. And we still hear it today where, people say, oh, she's such a good mother. She gave up everything for her children. And I just question whether giving up absolutely everything for your children is actually a positive thing. Of course, we want to give our children the best that we possibly can, but in order to be able to give them the best nurturing and to be present to them, we also need to be looking after ourselves and attending to our own needs. They can't just go on the back burner for 18 years until the children leave home, and then you start to examine who you are and look at all those things that you didn't, or that you gave up during the time that your children were young. And so because of this popular belief that a good mother gives up all for her children, women often find themselves completely exhausted and burnt out and unable to be the mums that they really want to be. And then, of course, in comes once again the guilt, the mummy guilt about not being good enough and not being able to be superwoman and not being able to have it all. So it's up to you. No one else is going to do it for you. You need to set those boundaries, and you need to value yourself enough to take that time out for yourself and to do those things. And you might need to modify the ways that you do them. You might not be able to look after yourself in the same ways, in exactly the same formats as you did pre-children, but you can modify those so that you still have things that you're regularly doing for yourself to nourish you and top you up so that you can be your best while you look after everyone else. So next time you catch yourself feeling guilty about going to work, having a life outside the family home, or doing something for you, going to yoga, going to the gym, or whatever it is that you feel is important for you, that you know nourishes you and tops you up, just notice that guilt and look at where it comes from, because it's not enough to just say, oh, it's mummy guilt. This whole thing about mummy guilt and women talking about how guilty they feel, it just perpetuates the mummy guilt. of, oh, we should feel guilty, and we all feel guilty, and how dare we? So I invite you to examine that a little bit. Where does this come from? And notice those martyr type patterns within yourself, because martyrdom always leads to resentment. It leads to burnout and it leads to resentment. And you're not here to just be getting through each day in survival mode. You're here to be living a life that you love, you enjoy, and through doing that, you also inspire those around you, and you're also sending positive role modeling and messaging to your children, and you're giving them the best of you. Your children want the best of you. They don't want some burnt out slave. So watch the mummy guilt pattern, and watch this potential martyr pattern that can play out in a lot of women. And be gentle with yourself, but just notice, and don't perpetuate this mummy guilt. No, there doesn't need to be a thing. No need for mummy guilt whatsoever. Let it go.